Hi friends, welcome back to Andrew Good Camera, where the only thing that never changes is the fact that everything is always changing. And the first big change is the space that I'm going to be filming in for the foreseeable. This might be the largest space that I've had to work with. It's a 20 by 20 cold storage area, and it's gonna be the channel's new home. So while I get to work making this a proper studio, I want to tell you the story of how I got here. Per the title of today's video, it is true. I am quitting full-time content creation, and that is something that I'm really sad about. Full-time content creation was my dream, and a big bully named Reality came and ripped it right out of my hands. Early in 2024, you may remember I posted a video about all my hopes and dreams for this year. It was full of enthusiasm and gratitude about being a full-time content creator, and full of optimism about the channel. I had recently been recovering with my health and getting a lot more momentum for the channel, and also getting some sponsorships going, getting some money, cash flow, and a much needed infusion of lots of things needed and necessary to be a full-time content creator. But as you may have guessed and seen from my dismal output, it hasn't gone like I hoped it would. And the single biggest reason for this is that my health just hasn't been where I need it to be, unfortunately, even with some of the progress that I have made. As you may know, and I have explained before, being a content creator takes a ton of energy. If you've never been a full-time content creator, you might not appreciate this, but those of you who do engage in creative activities, especially photography, and you think about the amount of energy it would take to engage in that activity full-time, and not just the creative endeavor itself, but also being your own full-time documentary film crew to document your own creative endeavor, it is astounding the amount of physical and mental energy that it requires. Next time you're watching your favorite YouTube channel, be sure to give that creator, especially if they're a solo creator, a big thanks in the comments, because unless you've experienced it, you truly can't appreciate how taxing it is. And the reality is that my body just couldn't do it. I suffer from some health issues that make it so that when I go hard physically or mentally for too long at a time, I absolutely crash, and I suffer from a debilitating amount of weariness. And with the channel, I was in a bad cycle where I could not rest enough between shoots. And that showed in my output. Between this channel and my other channel, I was only able to create 13 videos the past 6 months, and maybe that's fine for a hobby, but that's not enough for someone trying to make a living on YouTube. I also was slipping on the deadlines that I was given by sponsors, and I wasn't able to fulfill my obligations, and that made it so we couldn't make as much money. On top of that, because I struggled to keep the consistency, I've just been getting murdered in the algorithm. With YouTube, consistency is one of the absolute most important things. Full-time creators know that above all, you publish, you keep your schedule. You can't let that slip, and if you do, it's easy to get swept away. And for someone trying to support a family, to see a video that you have spent literally all your mental and physical energy on, to have some of those videos completely fall flat with a fraction of the views that you thought it could and would receive, it's not just disappointing. If you're a full-time creator, it's devastating. But when I felt good, man, it was good. It was exciting to wake up knowing that you're going to get paid to do the thing that you were passionate about, planning photo trips, thinking of creative ideas, geeking out with new toys, new photography gear. It's all that I ever wanted to do for a living, and so it was all the more difficult when after a video fell flat, I would also be completely depleted of all ability to go out and do it again. It was a horrible cycle, and my wife and I knew that it wasn't sustainable. I had to accept the fact that I needed to get back into full-time employment doing what I used to do on a computer all day, as hard as that was to admit. That was a job that even at my worst with my health, I was always really good at, even when I was working from bed, which I was doing many days. One of the reasons I went full-time YouTube was because the job market, it's been horrible. It's been an absolute bloodbath for anyone in user experience design, which is what I was doing. I can't tell you how many jobs that I've applied for over the past 3 years and not received so much as an email response back about. I've never experienced difficulty finding a job like this in 20 years of being in software. It's been horrible. And so even while I've been trying to make full-time content creation work, I have always kept a polished portfolio and resume and have been applying for jobs here and there, both one to keep my interview skills sharp, but also just to keep my opportunities open. And finally, that effort did pay off. But before I tell you about the happy ending there and what it means for the channel, let's stop building all this cheap furniture and build something high quality, and which is also, by the way, the sponsor of this video, FlexiSpot. As you may know, FlexiSpot has been a sponsor of this channel before in the past, and this is the second desk that I've gotten from them. The first one has lasted nearly 2 years, and I could not have been happier with that one. It stood the test of time, including 5 kids who will not leave that motor alone ever. This time, we have the E7 Plus Premium Standing Desk. Especially in light of just spending hours putting together cheap furniture, I'm super impressed at the feel, the heft, the quality, and the ease of putting this all together. It was a breeze for me and my son to put together in just a few minutes. Getting our sensory needs here with the FlexiSpot.
It's so hot.
It's also got a great built-in cable management system, and as an additional accessory, this time I added the optional clamp power strip, which is also super easy to install and feels super secure and high quality, and is going to help me with all the cable issues that I have. This time I also got the C7 ergonomic chair, which is super comfy and comes equipped with my favorite office chair feature, enhanced lumbar support. So if you would like your very own FlexiSpot standing desk, which I highly recommend that you get, be sure to tell them that I sent you by using my link in the video description or here on your screen. And thank you, FlexiSpot, for supporting the channel. So as I said, even though I can no longer survive and support my family as a full-time YouTube content creator, this story does have a happy ending. After years of searching, I did finally have a job materialize that I'm both qualified for and very excited about. Not just qualified for, but really feel like I'm perfect for, that matches my skills just so well. That's really hard to find. It's really hard to just find a job, as I said, as a UX designer these days, let alone one that you feel qualified in just about every way to perform at peak performance. I really do feel like I have been prepared in many ways just for this role, and I couldn't be happier and more excited about it. Also, just excited about the fact that I'll be able to support my family in a way that I haven't been previous, even though my health, although better than it has been in years past, is still not where I want it to be. Maybe this will allow me finally time to heal and do just what I need to physically to get in a better place, while I do what I'm really, really good at, just in a way that's not so physically taxing. So that's the hope. And so far, that's been the case. I've been at this job for a month now. We had to move. That's one caveat of the job. I can't do it remotely like I have in the past, at least not fully remote. So we did have to move away from our beloved St. George. We loved living in St. George for 6.5 years, Southern Utah. The photography down there, as you know, absolutely amazing in so many ways, not just for the landmarks, but also just for the small town aspects, which you know I love. But we do love where we are now as well. And so moved back to Northern Utah for this job. We love the place we're in. I love this place, this little studio I have. So if anything, I might have more time and money to be able to create the videos that I used to, and be able to get back to a better schedule. That's the hope. I'm not making any promises because I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to go. But probably more likely than not, I'll be able to make more videos than I have been. So that's ironic. But like I said, for the rest of this video, I want to make what's behind me. We've got the bones set up, but we don't have the soul. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm excited to put up. I had an interior designer help me from Fiverr, not a sponsor, help me to design out what this behind me will look like, along with a lot of the props and things that I'll be using. So let's go ahead and make that look beautiful, look like home. and talk about the objects that mean a lot to me that will go into setting up the set behind me. This will be my third studio that I've designed purpose-built for YouTube videos, and this time I want to incorporate 3 of my main hobbies, 2 of which I have channels about, of course, but that's photography, mountain biking, and music. One idea I had for this background that I'm really excited about was to have a really old television set which plays old bike-related content on repeat. I ended up getting 2, and while they were both advertised as working, so far I've only gotten 1 to actually be able to play the composite video that I've got jury-rigged up. And even with that 1, the picture is far from clear. But I find this quite nostalgic, actually, as the only television set that my family owned until I was 10 was about like this. It only got a few channels, and it was fuzzy, just like this one with a horrible picture. So I'm right at home with this look. The centerpiece of this studio was going to be a photograph that I thought would really tie everything together. I got this shot when we first moved to St. George 6 years ago, and I love the story behind it. It's a good video if you want something to watch after this one. I love how the photo ties in with the symmetry of the backdrop, but I screwed up and accidentally ordered the print without a gator foam backing, which is what I'd intended to do. So I figured instead I'd just glue on my own, and that went horribly wrong. I ended up ruining this really expensive print, par for the course with my luck. I'm not going to show you that footage because it's super embarrassing. But until I can afford to try again, I decided to put up one of my favorite frames that I coveted when I was a teenager. Someday I'll build this into an actual mountain bike, but in the meantime, I think it's a pretty cool centerpiece. And going along with a biking theme, I also wanted a few of my favorite tools in the background. This isn't all my bike tools. Me and my son own a mobile bike shop, and we have lots of tools. But these are a few of my favorite from Feedback Sports, which is a sponsor of my other channel. Next up, we have a few of my guitars and my favorite amp. And for those who've been watching the channel for a long time, you might remember this. And of course, we need to add my one and only Film Festival Award, which I'm super proud of. And we need to add some of my favorite cameras of all time, including my small collection of Rollei 35s, my Veronica, and we'll put some music making toys up that I don't use, so they might as well be decorations. And we're done, for now. We'll add some more fun things as we go, but this at least gets me a background that I'm happy with and which reflects my personality. I'm happy with this, and it feels really good to have a new home for the channel. So there it is, my new home. Hope you like it. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff here, a lot of videos. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again real soon.